Reinhardt is the man. This big old German has been the cornerstone of Team Kampf since 1998 when this game was released. Armed with a massive HP pool, a big blue rectangle, and some rocket hammer from NASA's R&D department, this guy is the menace of Overwatch and the master of all tanks. Back in 1998 when this game was released, there were only two kinds of people: players with Rein on their team and losers. Reinhardt was so good that he carried me out of gold rank into platinum. Then Jeff Kaplan made the biggest mistake of his life. It started out when he traded in his entire collection of Pokemon cards for Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and Blizzard's market share crashed. Thankfully, with the help of Inspector Gadget, Big Daddy Jeff got all of his Pokemon cards back. But during that time, Jeff was so depressed that he made irrational changes to the game. Suddenly, he started buffing every character except Rein and Symmetra, who nobody cares about. When he got his cards back, he was so elated that he... I'm sorry, I just can't do this. Let's talk about Reinhardt. He's big, he's mean, he's a hammer-swinging machine. I wasn't kidding when I said he was the cornerstone of Team Kampf, or that there was an era where Rein was actually weak in the meta. But with the arrival of Brigitte, our favorite German is swinging his way back into the meta. Pun totally intended. With Brig's ability to heal and give armor and stun enemies, she is a must-have support for Rein, and single-handedly brought him back into being good again. Now, I've been maining Reinhardt since the launch of this game, and I have to tell you that I don't think I'm anywhere near being excellent with this character, but I do have a lot of fun with him. Here comes the sneak pin, here it comes. Are you kidding me? Go ahead, Anna, I dare you to sleep me again. Just try it, oh my gosh. Oh, you think you can just walk up on me, Rein? Come here, boys. Let me show you what Oh, well, this is, I'm sorry. They will never see this coming. Come on, boys. Let's do this. Oh, okay, I made a mistake. Here I go. Surprise. Oh, dang it. Let's go, just go. Anna, give me the boost. Anna, give me the boost. Yes, I'm unstoppable. Come on, just try it. Oh, my gosh. From downtown. Yeah! Dang it, I missed the pillar! Oh, I'm in trouble. I think I'm in trouble. Oh, use the ultimate! Oh, yes, sir! Oh! And even though I'm not the best, I can get the job done when it really matters. He's really not that difficult of a character. Whether you're playing as him or you're playing with him, his role is pretty straightforward. Put up that shield, walk toward the enemy, and when you get close, it's W mouse 1 all the way, baby! That style of play, however, isn't possible without some good support play. Watch my other video on this if you want to know more. Now, the inspiration for this video is not actually my love for this character, but rather a particular QP match which ended in me being a little salty. I'm not salty because we lost, because we actually won. I'm salty about how my team played with me. I don't know if you knew this, but DPS characters are actually not the carry role. People might have thought so at one point, myself included, but if we were going to try and pick which role was the most important, it would have to be the tank role. Sorry to burst your bubbles, Hanzo mains, but you're not the center of the Overwatch universe. Tanks are. That isn't to say that DPSs and supports don't have important or difficult jobs, but without a tank, your chances of being successful are slim. Think about it. How often do comps with mostly DPSs and no tanks win? How about mostly supports and no tanks? Huh? Now think about how many comps win with even one tank. I rest my case. As important as tanks are, they rely very heavily on the rest of the team, just as the rest of the team relies very heavily on them. Even in this match that I'm about to break down and analyze for you guys, I couldn't have done the tanking role properly without some help from my teammates, who thought I was an idiot. Before we get into this, I want you to know that due to the nature of QP and the fact that most QP chats are full of unwanted sounds, I don't usually join team chats, or at least if I do, I don't talk to them. I mean, I really don't want to hear this.
Man. Oh, what the f?
Oh. Who is this?
Oh, it's me.
Oh.
Or this. So this match took place in the lovely city of Busan. The first round we took pretty much uneventfully. The second round we lost because of the same problem my team and I had in the third round. So in the second round, because the map is so big, usually people take some ranged characters and shoot from far away, right? This probably would have worked well for us if the enemy didn't take Pharah and destroy our backline. I'm not blaming anyone for this loss but myself. I'll be honest, I didn't give my DPS players much thought, but the main problem that kept us from losing that round was our lack of point presence. Sim, Brig, and I could have taken the point with Ana, Soldier, and Ashe covering us from the high ground, but every time I went onto the point, Brig was almost never with me. We were usually attacking two different targets. I even tried forcing synergy with her, but she mostly stayed just outside the point and not actually on the point. This led to disastrous engagements compounded by my horribly executed pins. Then came round 3. Now the enemy team had switched from Rein to Diva and had a Zarya, and I was the only tank on my team. This was a bit of a problem, but Brig and I really should have been able to handle two tanks. The problem was that, again, Brig and I were out of sync. That, and the enemy Hanzo kept spamming shots into my massive hitbox. Here's a quick rule of thumb when playing with a Rein. He's in charge. The only time he's not in charge is when he's being a pansy and not attacking the objective. When the entire team is assembled, Rein begins the engagements, and he also determines the front line because he literally is the front line. Now I was probably being a little overzealous in some of my engagements, which Ana and Brig bailed me out of multiple times, but being the only tank on a control map forces Reinhardt to be a bit more aggressive to give his DPS his space to kill. And I had an Ana and a Brig, so on paper I should have been fine. Rein is the perfect character to establish the front line, but if he's out there by himself, then he can't hold the line effectively at all. Both teams played pretty well, and it was interesting to have both teams group up after a team fight. But I think our victory should have been more decisive than it was. Take this clip for example. So we had just won our first team fight and we took control of the point. I see the enemy team regrouping for the next team fight, but I've got my ultimate. So I decide that instead of letting them come onto the point and spreading out, I should get them while they're bunched together in the street. So I march up with my barrier poised to shatter. Now as a Reinhardt main, if I ever saw an enemy Rein march right up to my team at my spawn, I'd be like, and the enemy Rein would be sitting there waiting to shatter my team like,
why are you running? Why are you running?
But this team apparently thought I was posturing or something because they attacked me head on. Now the Brig seemed to suspect something and pieced out before I shattered, and that definitely mitigated my damage. But if you look very closely at the replay, you'll notice that except for Winston, my entire team was back on the objective watching me die. Then on my way back, my Brig is telling me that she thinks I'm an idiot for engaging so far away from the objective. Did you see that play? Look at my team comp at the end. We got Rein, Winston, Reaper, and Brig, all masters of close range combat, most of them dealing cleave damage. I shattered 5 enemies so that we could just clean house, but the rest of my team is like, you're stupid, Rein. What the heck? Let's talk about how I used my ult at the beginning of a team fight, and by the end of the fight had it again to make this big play, and I'm the idiot. So I do it again at the end of the match, right? This time closer to the point so that my teammates have a chance to man up and help me. We're dang near 80%, which means that this is pretty much their last chance to take the objective. I do the same thing as I did before, this time getting all 6 enemies, right? What does our Reaper say?
You just say you got around the point, not try and spawn kill them.
So aside from a well-placed Ana grenade, I once again have no help from my teammates. Check out who I kill, ready? Mei, Mercy, Brig. The push is over. I've taken out their supports and a DPS, and now I've got Diva on the ropes. That only leaves my 5 teammates to deal with Zarya and Hanzo. Even though it wasn't a team wipe, it forced the enemy to trickle onto the point, which didn't work out for them in the end, but it would have been a team wipe if my team was with me. Honestly, if you see that your Rein has Shatter and he starts challenging the enemy team, get off your butt and help him. He can disable the entire team so you can get in there and just start wrecking everybody. Whew, okay, alright. I'm done, I'm good. I got out all I wanted to say. Obviously, I had some pent-up anger about this match, even if it was just quick play. Hopefully, though, you guys can get my point from all that ranting. Honestly, it's not hard to play as Rein or with Rein. Just follow his lead and watch his back. Come on. I wasn't even playing very well that match, and I was still putting the entire enemy team in its place. Anyways, I want to give a shout out to my supports, even Brig, who picked up my slack and saved my life more times than I could count. And my DPSs weren't half bad either. So what do you guys think? Am I some idiot who has no idea what he's talking about, or do you agree with me? Do you want to see more videos like this one? Let me know in the comments what you guys think and what you want to see, and I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching.